Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you're joining us today at Nkola Mahadum Wisdom University. Today's date is Afo Market Day in the fourth month of the Igbo lunar calendar called Onwa Ano. Anyị nọ n'ọnwa nke ịnọ na Igbo lunar calendar. Tata bụ Avọ. And ọnwa anọ, ọnwa nke ịnọ na lunar calendar now run from April 23 to May 20. And today's date in Roman Catholic calendar is May 3, 2025. Remember, at Nkola Mahadum, we always advise you to use your naturally given common sense, which we call akonuche, to decipher, to filter all the informations you are hearing and seeing before you make any decision. Also, we have maintained here that since other universities across other cultures present informations to protect their interests, so do we at Nkola Mahadum Wisdom University. That is why we present information from Igbo and African perspectives. Therefore, we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, like, comment, and share our lectures so that everybody will get it. The title of today's lecture is that Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, survival of 19th assassinations in 3 years, shows that Africans are not free. The Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, surviving 19 assassinations just in 3 years, shows that Africans are not free. And we want to remind you that Ibrahim Traore came to power in October 6th, 2022, just 3 years ago, through a coup which ousted interim President Paul Henry Sanda Ogo, who also gained power through a coup 8 months later. And it's like a wave in the Sahel region of Africa, because it's not only Ibrahim Traore, also General Assimi Goita of Mali and General Abdul Rahman Tiani of Niger are all together forming the Alliance of Sahel States, in which they have been rejecting and removing colonial powers from their territories. Also, Chad and Senegal are also doing the same. So that was why you as an Igbo man, you as an African, what do you think about these 19 assassinations in 3 years? Because Ibrahim Traore only gained power in 2022. Why are they trying to kill this man? We at Nkola Mahadum, we are thinking because of the achievements of this man trying to reposition his country, to be in control of his country against the colonial wishes. And we will use this opportunity to also itemize, mention some of the achievements of Ibrahim Traore within 3 years of being in control of Burkina Faso. It includes Burkina Faso's GDP grew from approximately 18.8 billion to 22.1 billion. Number two, he rejected loans from the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. He said Africa doesn't need the World Bank, IMF, Europe, or America. And he's right. Africa doesn't need the IMF loan or World Bank loan, or even Europe, the whole of Europe, America to survive. We can survive on our own. He reduced the salaries of ministers and parliamentarians by 30% and increased the salaries of civil servants by 50%. Again, caring for the working class and reducing the salaries of the elites by 30%, which is worthy of emulation. Number 4, he paid off Burkina Faso's local debts. All the debts owned by Burkina Faso was paid off. All the local debts were paid off. Number 5, he established 2 tomato processing plants, the first ever in Burkina Faso. The first time there's a tomato processing plants, 2 of them in Burkina Faso, whereby they'll be exporting finished products. Number 6, in 2023, he inaugurated a state-of-the-art gold mine to enhance local processing capabilities. For the first time, they can now process their gold instead of shipping it as raw materials to the colonial masters. Number 7, he stopped the export of unrefined Burkina Faso gold to Europe, which means raw gold are no longer sent to Europe for refining. They do it now in Burkina Faso. You see the reasons why he's being hunted to be killed and removed. Number 8, he built Burkina Faso's second cotton processing plant. Previously, the country had only 1. Now, Burkina Faso, under his care, has 2 cotton processing plants. Number 9, he opened the first ever national support center for artisanal cotton processing to assist local cotton farmers. Number 10, he banned the wearing of British legal wigs and gowns in local courts and introduced traditional Burkinabe attire. What a leader. In across most of African countries, you still see them wearing these British wigs and garments that look like a clown in an environment where there's no air condition. There is heat. You see them heat everywhere, sweating in that attire. But this guy was able to change that to traditional Burkinabe attire. This is worthy of emulation. Number 11, he prioritized agriculture by distributing over 400 tractors, 239 tillers, 710 motor pumps, 714 motorcycles to boost production and support rural stakeholders. This is a leader who wants the people to be sufficient in food production, not importing food. In Nigeria, you import almost everything, but here is a leader that is using his people, importing the materials that are needed to produce the food that they needed and for export. Number 12, he provided access to improved seeds and other farm inputs to maximize agricultural output. You know the biggest GMO seeds? He's not using those seeds. He is giving the farmers access to improved seeds, not GMO seeds, as being introduced by biggest in many African countries. Number 13, tomato production in Burkina Faso increased from 315,000 metric tons in 2022 to 360,000 metric tons in 2024, just in 2 years. Millet production rose from 907,000 metric tons in 2022 to 1.1 million metric tons in 2024. Just in 2 years, look at the increase in production of millets and tomato in Burkina Faso. Then rice production also increased from 280,000 metric tons in 2022 to 326,000 metric tons in 2024. Now they have a lot of rice to eat and export. Number 16, he banned French military operations in Burkina Faso. He chased the French away because when the French military were there, terrorists were not able to be defeated by the French army. So they were indirectly, the French army were indirectly sponsoring the terrorists. That's why he chased them away and banned them. He banned French media in Burkina Faso. You know that it is the media they use to confuse you, to lie to you. So that's why he chased them away, which is the right thing to do, so that the people cannot be listening to the country's Burkinabe media, which will be telling them the truth than all the lies from the colonial powers. Number 18, he expelled French troops from Burkina Faso. He expelled French troops. He also banned French military. Number 19, his government is constructing new roads, widening existing ones, and upgrading gravel roads to paved surfaces. A lot of road constructions going on because roads are used to develop places. When you have accessible road, it brings in different types of development. And so Ibrahim Traore is really doing the right thing for Burkina Faso. And number 20, he is building a new airport, the Ouagadougou Donsin Airport, which is expected to be completed in 2025 with a capacity to handle 1 million passengers annually. Now you can see why this man is being hunted to be killed with 19 attempted assassinations in 3 years. Not only that, the colonial powers, the Europeans, when we say the colonial powers, the Europeans, we mean France, UK, America, Belgium, Italy, Spain, and their brothers. They don't want any African country to be like them. They don't want us to control our economy. Any of our leader that comes up that wants to do the right thing for our people, they will hunt him and kill him, just like they're trying to kill this man, kill Ibrahim Traore. They want Africa to be a producer of only raw material and remaining dumping ground for their finished products. You know that they want Africa to remain a place that produces only raw material for them, and they will come and take these raw materials and to their country and turn it to finished products. So if the price of the raw material is one naira or $1, now after they put it into finished products, the price can be 10 naira or $10. That's how much profit they're making. So they want Africa to remain dumping ground. They don't want Africa to produce finished products. And you can see from the achievements of Traore, he's now building a lot of factories, both for gold, for tomato, so that Africa can be able to turn the raw material into finished products. They want Africa to remain poor and continue to die crossing the Atlantic Ocean, either by sea or by air, on a journey of no return to their motherland. They want you to continue to migrate to their country. They want you to remain poor. That's why they don't want leaders like Ibrahim Traore to emerge in Africa. Also remember, they have gotten away by killing many African leaders in the past. Such leaders include Patrice Lumumba of Congo, Thomas Sankara of the same Burkina Faso, Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, Samora Machel of Mozambique, Anolka Gabriel of Guinea-Bissau, Agostinho Neto of Angola, Felix Mumi of Cameroon, Eduardo Mondlane of Mozambique, Thomas Mapikela of South Africa, Chris Hani, also of South Africa, Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, to mention a few. They have killed so many African leaders that have come up to take control of the economy and political and cultural life of our people. And we want to also use this lecture to remind you that Western democracy in Africa means install my puppet, install a puppet for the West, just like they have puppets in Cameroon. They have puppets in Cameroon, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Kenya, to mention a few. They just need puppets. That's why they want you to be using this Western democracy. After all, many leaders in their area also have stayed very, very long, even outside Europe. How many years is the leader of China right now? How many years is Putin in office? How many years is Macron in office? You can see that they have stayed in office for a very, very long time. But they use their, or they tell you to follow Western democracy so that they can be installing the puppets for them. And we want to use this opportunity also to let the world know that Africans are fully in support of Ibrahim Traore. You can see all the demonstrations going on in Burkina Faso and across Africa and the world in support of Ibrahim Traore, because he's doing the right thing for the people of Burkina Faso and Africa. And there's a revolution going on in Africa right now where Africans are standing up to take control of their lives, take control of their economy, of their politics, of their culture, without foreign interference. And because we say we're going to be, monitoring time, the title of today's lecture is to let you know that the 19th assassination attempt on Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso is a wake-up call that shows that Africans, we are not free. The colonial masters have not let us free because Ibrahim Traore just came to power in October 6, 2022 through a coup which ousted interim President Paul Henry Sandago, who also gained power through a coup 8 months later. He was there for 8 months before Ibrahim Traore came in. And soon after Ibrahim Traore came in, other leaders also came into the Sahel states, including Assimi Goïta of Mali, General Abdul Rahman Tiani of Niger, forming Alliance of Sahel States, AES. Also, Chad and even Senegal have now woke up to start to expel foreign French troops from their land. And the question is, why are they after this young man, the youngest leader in Africa? They are against him because he has achieved so much within 2 years of being in power, which included growing the GDP of Burkina Faso from 18.8 billion to 22.1 billion. He rejected all the foreign loans, IMF, World Bank, and told them Africa doesn't need Europe or America to develop. We don't need them. We can do it on our own, which is true. He reduced the salaries of ministers by 30% and increased that of the civil servants by 50%. That is worthy of emulation. He paid off all the Burkina Faso local debts. He established 2 tomato processing plants. In 2023, he inaugurated state-of-the-art gold mine to enhance local processing capabilities. Now, people can process gold faster and better. He stopped the export of unrefined Burkina Faso gold to Europe, which means he wants to be refining the gold in Burkina Faso, turning to finished products, which the European colonizers does not want. He built Burkina Faso's second cotton processing plant. Previously, they have one before. He opened the first national support center for artisanal cotton processing to assist local cotton farmers. He banned the wearing of British Lego wigs and gowns in local courts and introduced traditional Burkinabe attire. This is worthy of emulation, using our own African fashion as the official dressing for the legal practitioners, not the foreign wigs and coats that is not required in our environment. He prioritized agriculture. He made agriculture first by distributing 400 tractors, 239 tillers, 710 motor pumps, and 714 motorcycles to boost production and support rural stakeholders. Have any other country followed his footsteps? These are worthy of emulation. You start looking for, every time you mention, start giving an example of what's going on in America, in Europe. Look at the one going on next door to you. That's the one you should be following. He provided access to improved seeds and other farm inputs to maximize agricultural output. That's what a leader should be doing. Tomato production in Burkina Faso increased from 315,000 metric tons in 2022 to 360,000 metric tons in 2024. Look at the margin right there. Also, millet production rose from 907,000 metric tons in 2022 to 1.1 million metric tons in 2024. Look at that. Rice production increased from 280,000 to 326,000 metric tons in 2024. Imagine that. He banned French media in Burkina Faso. You know, the media is the one they used to lie for Africans. So he banned them and drove them away, which is the right thing to do. He expelled French troops from Burkina Faso. His government is constructing new roads, widening existing ones, and upgrading gravel roads to paved surfaces. More roads are being constructed across the land of Burkina Faso. He's also building a new airport in Burkina Faso, which will have a capacity of 1 million passengers. Now you can see the reason why they have conducted 19 assassinations to kill this man, because he's doing the right thing. Other reasons why they want to kill him and why they are subjugating Africans to poverty is that they don't want any African country to be like them, be in control of our economy. They want Africa to be producing raw material only for them and remain dumping ground for their finished products, which they make much, much money. They want Africa to remain poor and continue to be crossing the Atlantic Ocean, either by boat or by airplane, on a journey of no return. People that are migrating and may not come back to Africa again. That's what they want. They have gotten away with so many killings of African leaders. They have killed many African leaders in the past and gotten away with them. That's why they want to kill this man. And some of the leaders they have killed in Africa, Patrice Lumumba of Congo, Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso, Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, Samora Machel of Mozambique, Amilcar Cabral of Guinea-Bissau, Agostinho Neto of Angola, Felix Momi of Cameroon, Eduardo Mondlane of Mozambique, Thomas Mapikela of South Africa, Chris Hani also of South Africa, and Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, to mention a few. They have killed a lot of them. And also, we want to remind you that Western democracy they are practicing in Africa is to help them to install their puppet. It doesn't mean that those democratically elected are doing better than the military people. It doesn't mean like that. Because you can see some of their puppets in Africa, which includes the one in Nigeria, the one in Ivory Coast, the one in Kenya, and the one in Cameroon. They are puppets which they put in through their democracy. But the military administrators of Burkina Faso, by the name of Ibrahim Traore, General Assimi Goita of Mali, General Abdul Rahman Tiani of Niger, all that form the alliance of the Sahel states are doing very well, removing colonial exploitations, driving away their military, which is incompetent, to keep their place safer. So it does not mean that democracy, those brought it through democracy, are doing better than those that came in by military. It depends on what the leader wants to achieve. And you can see that Ibrahim Traore and co are performing much, much better than any of them that were elected democratically. And we also want to mention here that Africans are fully in support of Ibrahim Traore and other leaders in the Sahel region, including other African leaders like the one in Namibia. We see what she's doing. She's doing a very good job. Any African leader that is standing up against the colonial masters, we at Nkola Mahadum, we back that leader and support that leader. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture to an end. But before we do, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Twitter and TikTok, and like, comment, and share. Share to get to everybody. Finally, the Fulani terrorist herdsmen are coming. They are already in our land, killing from Zamfara to Borno, to Kaduna, to Plateau, to Benue, to Enugu, to Ebonyi, to Anambra, to all the eastern region of Nigeria, where they are kidnapping, destroying our farms. What are you waiting for? We are asking you to defend yourself. If not, our land will be run over. Defend yourself. Person cannot be coming with AK-47 and you say that you are praying. Praying cannot match AK-47. AK-47 will match AK-47. AK-49 will match AK-49. That's what you should be doing. Thank you very much for listening and have a great day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.